Hi, very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf Collectibles. Today we're going to review probably the most extravagant merch from a theme park in the UK. Yeah, so hi. Those of you that are aware of Thorpe Park, probably been there the last few years, down in Surrey in the south of England. In 2016 they opened a new ride called Derren Ghosttrain, and a week or so ago they announced that that has now closed. It's finished, it's gone, and will reopen next year as just a ghost train. So got me thinking, I do have this in the collection. I thought I'd do a bit of a review on it. So Ghosttrain, as I say, opened in 2016. It was kind of a combination of sort of a simulator ride with virtual reality linked in with some illusions from Darren Brown. It was kind of well received, but not overly received. It cost a fortune. It was about 13 million, I think, to produce. There was a whole new area of the park called the Dockyard as well in that cost. Very slow throughput. There was a lot of complaints the VR wasn't working, wasn't syncing properly. It was a very ambitious project because it involved a vehicle that moved through a tunnel with VR headsets operational at the time. A lot of interactive actors in the performance. The whole thing was very, very ambitious. And actually, you know, as a whole, I think, I mean, I didn't get to go on it until a couple of years ago, and I felt that it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't my cup of tea. I prefer roller coasters. I prefer something with a little bit more adrenaline. But I think, you know, had it have worked, had the technology been perfect, then it could have, you know, it could have rivaled Disney. Unfortunately, it didn't get there. The ride, after its first year, had, you know, lukewarm reviews. So they closed the ride, they extended the building, they put in a new show scene, and opened it again with something like the Devil's Return or something, I don't know, a tagline on the end. And all it was just a jump scare in the shop. Sort of a fake, they built a fake shop and then somebody jumped out. So anyway, as I say, it's reached the end of its life as Darren Brown's Ghosttrain. But when it was open, in the shop, they sold this item, which is probably the most extravagant and unique thing that's been sold in a retail shop in a theme park. Not only was it really expensive for a theme park back in that day, you know, when you're talking 5, 6, 7 years ago, and this has got a price tag on the back of 50 quid. This would have been a lot of money then. Still a lot of money now. It's also not that child friendly. It's got a very, well, I won't spoil it yet. We'll go and have a look inside the box, but it's, you know, it's the most bizarre thing I've seen in a theme park. Probably not the most expensive, because obviously you can go and buy a crystal castle in Disneyland, which is obscene amounts of money. But yeah, it's quite unique, and I've not seen one of these come up for sale for a long time. So I think they're pretty rare and pretty uncommon. So go over to the bench. Let's have a look at what's in the box, and then I'll try not to give too many giveaways, and then we'll have a look at it in operation. Right, let's have a look. So the first thing I should point out, as you can see in this picture at the top here, there's a Victorian railway carriage, effectively held by chains. And when you walked into Darren Brown's Ghosttrain, the illusion, the first, or the first real themed piece or set piece in the attraction was this carriage, which had the illusion of being suspended in air, floating, held down effectively by chains. The chains were pointing upwards. They were going up towards the carriage, so the carriage was sort of above the ground but was like floating in air. And this is where you would then enter into the first transport system. So this is what this merch is around. It's about this first scene with the, you know, the floating carriage. And yeah, as it says, Darren Brown's Ghosttrain, derail your mind, floating carriage defies gravity. So let's have a quick look. There's nothing else on the box, and there's a sort of big giveaway of what's in here. Watch the floating carriage defy gravity. And as I say, £50. And then the warning is the other giveaway here. Features magnetic base with LED lights. powered by mains, not suitable for under threes. Well, you know, that's optimistic, because this thing, if when it snaps shut, it really does, and it can catch your fingers. And it's also got a very powerful magnet in it, so I'm going to be very careful with my phone near it. I wonder if this should have had a few more warnings on it, but anyway, let's have a look inside. So the box itself is a proper quality item. This one obviously showing its age a little bit, but you've got sort of a magnetic flap shut, which is very similar to like the Apple products. Let's just slide this underneath my bench, and then inside we have the power plug, and then this here is a carriage. Slide this out. You can see the detail on that. It's a lovely, you know, it's like a tin plate carriage. Although these are decals on the side, and it is made of plastic. It looks like one of those you know, sort of vintage 00 tin plate carriages, but replication of the cholesterol Victorian coach, as you can see there. No working wheels or anything, it's just a schematic kind of thing. Right, pop that down there, and then in here is the base. And on there you can see Dan Brown's Ghosttrain, and then you've got LED lights on the side. So I'm just going to set this up, and then we'll have a review of it working. And there you go, possibly the most elaborate theme park merch you will ever see. So this, as I say, this simulates the carriage in the first scene, sort of floating in midair. First scene of the ride, that is. Just to show you, a little stick here. If I just move that underneath, you can see that it's suspended in space. So, I mean, obviously quite a simple illusion. There's just a couple of magnets in here holding the carriage where it needs to be. And basically, if I just stop that, I can rotate either direction. But this is where that worries me. As you can see, once it falls off of the point at which it balances, it's now very magnetic, and it does slam down. I don't want to do that too many times because it does scratch the surface. But to get it to balance, you have to sort of hold it roughly around a couple of centimeters from the base, and then keep moving it until the magnets find their position. Not the easiest thing, there it is. Not the easiest of things to do. So I'm just going to hold the camera in my hand at the moment, so to try and give some perspective of the so lift it over it and get some idea of what it looks like from different angles. You see, if I just hold it here, you can see the lights shining off the end of it, which is quite a nice touch really. Just bring that back down. And so this is the most bizarre thing. So you've spent £50 on this souvenir from a mediocre attraction that you know, clearly you must have really loved to have spent that kind of money, and you've got this home and you've put it on display, and you've spun the carriage, and you can see the carriage is slowing down, and eventually the carriage will stop. It only spins until the sort of air resistance stops it moving, and then it just sits there floating. If you turn the power off, if you turn the lights out, then the carriage drops, and then you spend, you know, when you set it back up or set it going again, you then have to reposition the carriage to get it to balance. So it's kind of a one-trick gimmick. So really, as a piece of merch, it's only crazy collectors like me that really would ever be interested in it, I guess. Well, there you go. So Derren Brown's Ghosttrain is no more, but this souvenir certainly will live on. So there you have it. Probably the most bizarre, most extravagant, weirdest theme park souvenir that's ever been released in the UK. Not a particularly great attraction, but unique in its own right, and certainly unique in the merchandise that they tried to dispense at the time. Like I say, I don't know how many of these would have been sold. I'd never see them come up for sale now. And being, you know, £50 back then, that's quite a big purchase for what is a gimmick on, you know, when you're out for a day to ride roller coasters. But there you go. Anyway, I'll leave this video there. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you for watching my videos. It really makes my day. And yeah, please join me for the next one. And I'll still carry on focusing on theme park memorabilia as well as my railways and other collectibles. So yeah, thanks again. Thanks for watching.